Sheffield United and Charlton came down together and both were expected to go straight back up again. But they're experiencing very contrasting seasons. Patrick Davison reports.
5 years after leaving Sheffield United, Kevin Blackwell is back at Bramall Lane, this time as manager. Under Neil Warnock, Blackwell built his reputation as a coach. But he's returned to find not all is well in the Blaze dressing room. A group of players who started the season among the promotion favourites after relegation from the Premier League went into Saturday's game against Charlton just 5 points above the Championship's bottom three.
Sometimes the club goes through a little bit of a transitional period. You know, Neil left and then Brian came in and things were slightly changed. Well, I think you've only got to look back at maybe the game against Middlesbrough. You know, sometimes you have a season where things just don't quite drop for you. And when you look at the goal that we've lost the FA Cup to, then you realise that maybe it could be that sort of season. It's as though I'd never been away. Some of the banter's certainly there, and there's no doubt they've reminded me of certain things when I was here before. But the people are first-class people, and you know, behind the scenes we've got a great set of staff. You know, from the laundry lady right through to the ticket office, and there is a real camaraderie about the place, and it's a great place to be.
A number of Sheffield United fans were unhappy with life under Brian Robson, but more than 23,000 of them turned out for Blackwell's first home league game in charge, all of them seemingly behind their new manager.
Big game today for Blackwell, for the Blades and for the fans. There'll be a lot of fans here, all behind Blackwell, not against Robson like before.
I think everybody is behind Blackwell because you know, the team is somebody who knows the club inside out, and he knows what the task is.
For their part, Charlton made 4 changes to the side well beaten at Blackpool last time out. That defeat left Pardew's side without a win in their last 7 on the road. But they looked like the more threatening side throughout the first half and went ahead in injury time. Sheffield United failed to deal with Greg Halford's long throw. Chris Iwelumo pounced to score his 10th of the season. Sheffield United's best chance fell to Billy Sharp just after half-time. The striker headed straight at Nicky Weaver and has now gone 17 Championship games without a goal since moving to Bramall Lane. 8 minutes from time, Charlton sealed the points. Sam Sodje, who'd won everything in his own box, doing the same thing to great effect in the opposition penalty area. It was only the centre-back's second of the season, but he had his celebration ready. A disappointing afternoon was completed in the final minute for Sheffield United. Stephen Quinn shown a straight red card for his late challenge on Jose Semedo. At full-time, Charlton celebrated getting their promotion push back on track, while a furious Blackwell headed to the dressing room, where he spent the best part of an hour holding an inquest into a defeat which leaves his side precariously placed.
That wasn't good enough in any way, shape or form. I thought we were devoid of ideas. We were second best in every aspect of the game: defending, attacking, midfield. I'm not questioning the effort. The effort was there, but it was misguided.
I was genuinely surprised by the players today. I thought they were absolutely terrific. I expected them to be perhaps a little bit low in confidence, but their reaction was absolutely brilliant, and they have to take full credit for this performance.
You know, there were a few things said in there, a lot of truths and a lot of what people thought, and sometimes it's good. You need that. So, you know, clear the air, get on with it, and you know, we've got to press on now.
If I don't see a dramatic improvement in the next couple of games, then there's got to be changes, and the club is where it is because we're clearly either not doing it as a unit or as a team, or the individuals aren't doing it. So, but we'll get to the bottom of it.
If ever a phrase "too good to go down" applied, it must be Sheffield United. Good to see you both. I mean, have you ever played in a team which has been so underachieving like that, Stephen?
I'd say so underachieving. In a Wolves team, when if you look at the players we had in the side, Robbie Keane and Dean Richards at the time, we should have been walking away with the league, but didn't. And sometimes things contrive against you, whether it be injuries or something else, or the team just goes through a spell of bad form. And Sheffield United have just never got going this season. Is it a team of individuals? Is that the problem, Matt?
I don't think so. I think it's very hard to put your finger on it. I mean, you look at that team sheet and the people that are not in that starting 11, you know, at the start of the season, you'd have them down as certainly playoff candidates, if not automatic promotion hopefuls. And it's hard. It's hard to really, you know, you would fancy them to be right up there at the top. And perhaps there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't get to know about. But if you look at them player for player, the experience they've got there, you can't really see why they're struggling like they are. Managers say they never look at the table, but do players, especially down the bottom end, if they're in danger of going down?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, they're certainly not safe by any stretch of the imagination. They need to pick up a win or two, and very quickly. And I think where they're really struggling now at this stage of the season is they've only scored 2 goals in the last 6 games. You know, when James Beattie was fit and firing at the start of the season, he was a Championship's top scorer, but they can't buy a goal at the moment.
Only 4 points off the bottom three there. It's getting really tight, isn't it? But Kevin Blackwell has been brought in, hasn't he, to turn the club round. It's not easy to do that, though, is it, very quickly?
There's no guarantees. No guarantees at all. I mean, we've just seen there that the game against Charlton, you've got a player of Gary Speed's experience and ability. He was done on the run, got beaten for the second goal by Sodje. And that sort of thing doesn't happen too often. And you know, perhaps things are just not working there for whatever reason at this moment in time. But you know, having said that, I don't fancy them to get sucked right into real serious relegation problems. But it's just a surprise that they're not up there challenging for promotion.
Charlton are up there challenging, aren't they? Perhaps not for the top two at the moment, but that's certainly not unobtainable, is it?
It's not. I think one thing they've struggled with really the whole season is actually getting a decent run of results in a block together. I mean, they conceded, you know, prior to the game, they conceded 7 goals in 2 games, and you know that sort of form is not going to get you an automatic spot. I think the playoffs now are certainly realistic, but I don't think they'll get one of the top 2.
Is it difficult sometimes to know who your best strikers are? Because in the Championship, you know, you don't have the best strikers, do you? If they're any good, they go to the Premier League, I suppose. Not to denigrate any of the strikers in the Championship, of course, like Chris Iwelumo, but he'd gone 14 games and 14 blanks before he scored in that game.
Well, that's true. I mean, he scored his fair share this season. It has to be said that as well. But a lot of strikers, even the top strikers, go, you know, through barren periods. And you know, Chris is having one of those at the moment. Hopefully, he's, you know, rekindled the flame for scoring again, and he's back on song. But you know, he's still probably proven himself at this level. I think, you know, it's a big achievement for him to get to a club like Charlton, having spent a period of time in lower leagues and smaller clubs, shall we say. But you know, you touched on the point there, which is a big reason for me why so many results fluctuate from week to week. And you know, it's often said about this league, any team can beat any team at any time.